we have the Bardia. Bardia is one of the first guests today. Thank you, Bardia, and welcome to Girafa show. If you want, you can start the conversation, and then I will start asking the question.
Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure to be your guest for this episode.
Thank you so much. As you know, we have a program to talk with the people that they had a journey, they had a trip, and talk about their experience. As much as I know, you had a long trip in Europe, yes?
Yep.
Yeah,
So you can say it was something about 4,000 kilometers.
4,000 kilometers. That's a wow. Okay, so at the first, as a first question, can I ask when was the trip? When did you had this journey?
We started our trip in July, exactly the next day of after my PhD defense. So it was July 19th to be
So it was a
exact.
gift. It was a present for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Oh, so we talk about it, 2023.
2022.
I'm sorry, 2022. Yes,
Yeah.
2022. And before I want to ask where and how, I want to ask why. Why did you plan this kind of the trip? That's a long trip, and it's going to be a lot of equipment, and it's not just city to the city, or sometimes going to different country. It's going to be around more than 2 or 3 countries. Yes,
Almost about 4 countries.
4 countries. Yeah. Okay. So why?
I should say that first of all, I love traveling. I'm not a professional traveler, but I do love that. Besides, I studied tourism.
Uh-huh.
So the second one got my PhD in tourism geography. So this is the second reason. And the third reason, because my family they came visit me
Mm-hmm.
uh, during the summertime. So we wanted to travel together, and that was the third reason. They wanted to visit some countries in Europe. I
Okay.
had to organize a family trip, and that was the third one.
Nice. Okay, now, so it was a family and kind of the present to yourself after graduate, because I know that when it's close to that PhD thesis, it's a lot of pressure, and then you just need some air fresh.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so because it's a long trip, I want to start. Did you have some kind of the idea about choosing the country, about which country do you want to go, or you just
Mhm.
accidentally you will start to? Can I ask where did you go first? Maybe.
Uh, I started the planning about a month or 2 months before because I knew that my family will join me for the defense day. So I needed to plan in advance everything in terms of renting the car and considering the itinerary to go and the different countries. So basically, because I was in summertime, so somehow summer 2022 was super hot and
Mm,
especially south of France. So I was considering to moving toward northern countries, not that north, but maybe Switzerland, let's say, and then Germany and the Netherlands and Belgium and also north of France. So I considered the temperature as well. And
hmm.
beside that, because we wanted to have a visit of nature, so Switzerland has
Yeah,
kind of
that's wonderful.
and yes, so that was different ideas behind, and also different member of families. They wanted to visit, for example, Germany, Switzerland, the Netherlands. I I wanted to ask them their preferences, so we came up with this plan, the name of the countries,
Hmm.
and that I started to make this journey.
Okay, good. Um, that's a good one. I know that you're studying the tourism, so maybe it can help because I want to put the question in the 3 different category. One of them is about the equipment and experience can help the people if they want to go somewhere, and the second one is gonna be the nature, the culture. Which one is gonna be suggest from you. But the third one is gonna be your experience as a
Okay.
traveler. So let's start the journey. So what do we need if you want to go somewhere, especially that kind of the trip is gonna be not just okay, I want to go to the Sweden, I want to go to the Germany, so I just need a ticket and then to reserve the hotel, then I will go there. So as much as I know, you said it was renting car. It was a caravan, if I say correctly. Yes, the big car or that the normal car.
Let me clarify the terms. As
Mm,
far as I read about, we have motorhome and
mm-hmm.
camper van and caravan. Okay, so caravan is in another category because caravan doesn't have engine. Okay, you need to
Okay,
tow it the behind of the car,
okay.
but motorhome and camper vans they have engines. Okay, so they call it all-in-one vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I read, the difference between motorhome and camper van is motorhome is like larger, like let's say truck and or
Mm-hmm.
bus. They converted to these type of RVs. RV stand for recreational vehicle. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and camper van is very much smaller in terms of the space that they have. So caravan must be towed at the behind in the behind of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this different. So we rented a motorhome
So it
with
depends what do you need. So it's gonna be three different one. If I have a car, I need a car one. If I don't want to use my car, or if I don't have a car, maybe that the camper van or the motorhome is
motorhome.
gonna have. Okay. So so the first one is gonna be I need to know what kind, and then about place, how it's gonna
Mhm.
be because it's depend to the time. But do you have any advice about the place if you want to rent it or if you just go there and find? Let's see what's gonna happen.
Well, basically, for traveling, the first and the most important thing is your the teammate, the people that you want to
Wow.
travel with.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? This is super important because if you're traveling with some of friends or some people that you just met, I mean, that can be kind of hard to arrange everything because of the taste and preferences of people or different uh, type of tourism could be very
Mm-hmm.
different. Okay, and when you're traveling with family members, super easier. Okay, but again, you need to consider the age differences because you need to be aware of if you're traveling with children, then you need to consider some of these issues as well. If you have some elderly members in the group, then
Okay.
you need to consider that. So the time of traveling on the road and also staying, how far you need to go, the time of you need to consider for the food preparation. So these are the things that you need to
Mm-hmm.
have in mind before traveling and then see. Because um, some families they're okay with traveling about 5 hours driving. I mean, in the road,
Mm-hmm.
but the other areas can be different 2 hours, 3 hours maximum. Okay, so these are the things that you need to know in advance because you need to know how far you can go, okay, per journey, and then try to pull over and stay and have rest for 1 or 2 hours, and after that you continue. So these are I could call that the basics of the group that you want to travel with.
Okay. The first advice is gonna be who we are. It's very
Exactly.
important. Okay.
Yeah.
And the second one is gonna be what we need as a vehicle or the stuff. So, because I've never had this kind of the trip, so
Mhm.
I think there's a two type of the people. There's some of them they just uh, need adventure. They're just going and to let's see what we can find there. Um, but there's a something all of all type of the people they should care about that. Even if they're gonna be that kind of this adventure trip, let's see. Just I don't know. There's a name for that one. They're going and find a free car and just let's see where we can sleep. And according to your experience in the journey, uh, what's gonna be the most important thing, the next one after who we are going on what we need?
Mhm.
What should we prepare about the group or where we are going? What is there anything we should to know it in advance?
Mhm. I would say, based on the nature of tourism that we want to consider, for example, if you're planning to do adventure tourism, as you mentioned, that could be totally different from, I don't know, cultural tourism or different type of tourism. So we need to consider, where do we want to go? Okay, if you want to go and set up camp and in nature, or we want to stay in a city, okay, and go for shopping. I don't know, going to the museums and walking streets and visiting some of these tourist attractions in the city. That can be very, very different. So after that, I would say try to choose um, based on the taste of the people. Okay, the type of tourism that you want to make, and we need to consider it is not possible to just let's say choose a very specific type of tourism, because when you're traveling,
Mhm.
uh, it's a mixture. You cannot separate everything. Okay, if you're traveling to a destination, you will socialize with the local people. It is inevitable. Okay, so you will do cultural
Of
tourism,
course.
and these are the combination of different types of tourism. But of course, you will have one as a priority
Hmm.
that the top of your list to do.
Okay, that's benefit when you're talking with people that who's studying and is expert and experiences. So
Right.
as much as I try to note it, and the first one is going to be who we are, who's going to the trip, and the second one is going to be where we are going and when we are going, and the third one is going to what do we want from the trip. Yes.
That is true.
Okay.
Yes. And what are our expectations, as you mentioned?
Okay. So let's go to your journey. You start. Can I ask where do you live now?
I'm living in France. I'm staying in
Okay.
France. Yeah,
Okay. So of course you start from the friends, and
that's right.
uh, from now I'm gonna give the mic to you and try to explain how was the trip, the first day, and then where did you go, and what was the most amazing thing for the first country, or I don't know. Be my
Yeah.
best. Yeah.
But before that, I wanted to add the fourth one. The fourth factor is your
Uh huh.
budget.
Wow. Yes.
That, that's well, you could say that it is one of the most important one, because you need to spend money. Okay, so
Mm,
everything needs to be considered inside that budget. Okay, and you
exactly.
cannot more than that.
Yeah.
All right, so
Thank you so
these
much. That was a very important part.
exactly. Okay, well, I considered this journey as a circle trip to start from Montpellier and
Hmm.
go back to Montpellier. So that was a round trip. I designed the itinerary for my family, and we chose Motorhome because, well, it's a kind of six-bed vehicle, so we could all fit in. It had the washroom, the bathroom, a big fridge, and also um, it was possible. It was a small kitchen inside and dinettes. It was very, very equipped. Okay, and instead of paying for staying in hotel and also at the same time paying for renting a car,
Hmm.
so because based on either we had to rent a van for traveling or two different cars. Okay, but we came to this option and considering this one instead of paying for a hotel in different countries. So that was the main idea. And in terms of the budget, it was very, very convenient comparing to paying for two cars and then also staying in hotels for 6 people. We traveled for 14 days, and the amount we paid for the that motorhome was 4,200 euros. And in terms of expenses, we paid about €1,000 for the fuel, and something about €1,000 for the toll for using the highways.
Just
In
for the equipment for the car and moving, the camping, maybe we can say yes.
for all the equipment, that was 4,200. Everything was included, chairs and etc. I said 1,000 more for the fuel, okay, for every driving, okay, and 1,000 more for the toll because we were using the highway.
Okay. So for rent a big car with for the 6 people and going for around 2 weeks around
2 weeks.
Europe, how much did you pay for in a total?
In total, that was about 6,200.
Okay, but it's included where you can stay. It's gonna be just you didn't pay for the hotel, you didn't pay for the car, and everything was with you. That was nice.
Yes, we didn't pay for the hotel, but I will explain because there are some campsites that you need to stay because it is not possible to park your motorhome everywhere you want. So there are specific places that you need to stay, but the price is very cheap. So maybe 20 euros per night. Okay. And that's pretty cheap to stay, and you can use the electricity to charge the batteries and etc. etc. Okay. All right. So we started the trip and hit the road from Montpellier. We went toward east of France, and then we arrived to Geneva in Switzerland. And if we consider, so let's say 14 days, we stayed something about 2 nights at each of the cities, and or let's say 7 major cities. Okay, we stayed overnight. Okay, went toward Geneva and also Lausanne, another city pretty close to Geneva. And after that, we went toward Interlaken, that's somehow centered toward north of Switzerland. We continued our journey to west of Switzerland, Basel. It's the city pretty much had a border with it has a border with Switzerland, between Switzerland, France, and Germany. And we entered Germany and went toward Bonn, and just visited Bonn. We didn't go to any other cities in Germany. After that, we went toward Amsterdam and had a visit of the city as well. Came down to Rotterdam, and from Rotterdam we went toward northwest of France. That's a beautiful city called Etretat, or the French pronunciation Etretat. That's the northwest. Very beautiful sightseeing. From there, we came down to another city called Caen, and after that, we went to Mont Saint-Michel. That's a very beautiful attraction in the rest of France. And from there, we went to Paris, the capital, and we finished our journey to go down to south to Montpellier. So that was the second trip we did.
Yeah, it was a lot. So I wanna actually I write it down to ask. Okay, with that size of the car, you cannot go anywhere. But you said my answer before. But about the border, maybe you needed some kind of the specific certificate or something special if you want to go border to border, for example, different country. As a people, they are not uh, EU citizenship. I know as a EU citizenship or the Schengen, you can go everywhere. But because you said you have a guest,
Yeah.
so do
Well,
they need some specific paper or document?
no, that's because you got the Schengen visa,
Okay,
which is, you know, the Schengen area, so you don't need to have any specific type of, um, let's say, visa for each different country. So it's valid for all the Schengen countries.
okay. So if someone has one of these countries' visa, they can go everywhere they want. Okay, good. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, and about the still, I want to ask about this equipment. So
Mhm.
what's gonna happen if you cannot, or you have a problem with the car, or you cannot make it one day, for example, something happened for the car, and is it happen for you, or everything was fine? I just want to know that is there kind of the backup service they can
Mhm.
use or not?
Well, the company that you want to rent a car from, they will test everything, and
Hmm.
they will, yeah, you'll be trained about the some very basic things. For example, because there are four more important things that you need to know in advance in terms of water, electricity, and also the drainage of the wastewater and etc. Okay, so you will be trained at first before, because I myself, that was my first time
Hmm.
traveling by a vehicle, so I didn't know anything. I just watched some YouTubes, and in terms of what we need to know in advance before, apprehend before renting this type of vehicle. Okay, but they will provide you very useful information how you need to work with them, and what are the basics that you need to know, and what are the important things. And after you arrive at that site, they will provide you with different numbers. Okay, it is also included in your contract. Depends on the types of contract that you want to have, because it is possible to pay more to
Hmm.
have more assistance in the road. Okay,
Okay.
so everything is considered.
If I want to ask about you had different countries, visiting different countries as a nature. If we
Okay.
went looking as nature, which one is going to be most beautiful, or which one is going to be 10? If we want to ranking to the 10, can you ranking for us which one is?
Okay. That's a tough question because, well, when you start from south of France,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it has a Mediterranean nature, okay, you will go up toward, let's say, uh, east of France. East of France, somehow, so those region which is bordering with Switzerland, it has the same nature as Switzerland, okay.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
when you say Switzerland nature is very, very specific and different from each other neighboring country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, somehow each of the countries that we visited, um, they have their own specific beauties, which is not comparable. Okay, and because in Switzerland, based on my own experience, the type of nature I visited was stunning. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
very beautiful. The cliffs, the waterfalls, the nature. It was super clean, okay, and very stunning. And I had the same experience in Netherlands as well. Okay, different canals, very picturesque scenery. The houses were very beautiful design, colorful, and you will see very, very tempting places to go and visit. But yeah, as I explained, it's very different based on taste.
Okay.
I would say you can give the same rating for each of them because they're very specific in their own
Mm-hmm.
category.
Okay. Uh, I just remember my question. Do you need some specific driving license for the big car, that kind of the motor one, or is it the same? We just need some training.
That's the same.
That's
That's the same.
okay.
High speed. Yeah.
So I'm gonna back to the culture now.
Right.
So as a you said as a nature you cannot rank it. What about the food?
It depends if you're really open to test new foods. Okay, that would be super fantastic because each country they have their own specific dishes that you want to go and eat that. But if you're really close in terms of choosing or testing new food, then you need to find those maybe Indian foods or Indian restaurants, Iranian restaurants, or Pakistani restaurants, which
Yeah.
is somehow related to cultural food,
Yeah.
I would say. But we didn't have that problem because we were really open to testing new food at different destination. We wanted to spend time enjoying the destination culture. Okay,
Okay.
so we were very open to testing new foods.
So can I ask what was the weirdest food you tried?
The weirdest one, with
Not
snail.
what?
Snail.
It was the first time you. How was that?
That was good. That was good.
Where did you try it?
In France.
In France.
Yeah. We
Uh,
tried, and also there was frog leg.
what?
Frog leg, yeah. That was very tasty, I would say.
Okay. Frog leg.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but when we're eating chicken leg or the sheep leg. Actually, it's interesting because there's a documentary about the name of the documentary is a Taboo, and one of the episode it was about the food, and the guy he said that delicious is not in the food, it's in your brain.
Okay.
So yeah, for example, we have some kind of the weird food in our country, like the calipache or blah blah, or when we want to eat it, we cannot understand. Really, you cannot eat, for example, the heart, the brain, or eyes. It's weird. It's so delicious. So he said that, for example, in the France, they are eating the horse meat, and the people they said, "Oh, it's so weird." So what's the difference between the horse and the cow and the sheep? They're the same. So that's very interesting because if someone wants to try something for the first time, first of all, we should pass the what can I say that mentality from the food, not the taste of it. So you said that the frog leg was delicious. So maybe
Yeah, yeah. I would say that somehow there was similar to chicken taste. Okay.
okay, maybe I will
Yeah.
try. So what was the second one?
The snail. Snail.
Oh, snail. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, and about the culture, if I want to ask, I of course I don't want to rank it because the first question was a little maybe stupid. But about the culture, can you give us some how can I say this? Some kind of the brief your experience. Of course, it's gonna be because we cannot judge the people or culture if we want just one time trip or something. What was
That's
the most uh, nice or let's see positive or negative for you in this
I
trip
would
for
say
the
I would call it more open. Okay.
okay.
And yeah, I think French people are more open. Okay, comparing to other countries that we traveled. But there is a big but because if you can speak French,
Oh, okay.
okay,
Hmm.
then they will answer you because there is a general mindset against French people. They say that, well, somehow they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to answer you. I would say this is not true because French people are very shy in terms of speaking English because they think maybe the other people make fun of their accent while they're speaking English. But in even if you don't know French very well, but you start a conversation with them, then it will be totally different world. Okay,
That
and
was
that was
very that was
my
very
own.
good.
Okay. And if you're living in the south of France, you will see more happy faces in terms of um having a conversation, a daily conversation. Okay, they're more open compared to the north of France, but the depth of this interaction or this relationships is very different. Okay, the
Hmm.
more you go toward the north, the more they will keep the distance. But if they become friends with you, the depth of the friendship is very different.
Yes.
Okay, so all or nearly all Mediterranean countries like Italy, south of France, I don't know, Spain.
Spain,
So
Portugal, yeah.
they have somehow the same way of interaction in terms of being open. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
or people compared to when you're traveling to Switzerland and Germany, they're very reserved and they want to keep the distance. Okay, and well, in France, that was our experience. But when we went to Switzerland and Germany,
Hmm.
we thought that people are not really open. Okay, and but that was a different scenario in Amsterdam. Maybe because in Amsterdam they're hosting every day many different twists. Okay, and very different in the same country because we visited Amsterdam and Rotterdam. Okay, our experience in Amsterdam was far different from Rotterdam. Very great experience in Amsterdam, and there was not a good experience in Rotterdam. And
Hmm.
we went restaurants and even in the camping site, we didn't have a good experience with the owner. Well, so I could say these are the different things. Maybe the root in culture, or maybe different because we know that scientifically the geography of the region and
Of
places that you
course.
live has a great effect on your personality and behavior.
Yeah. And as a person who's living in around 8 years in one of the Scandinavian countries, I can totally understand what you're saying there. Okay.
Yes.
And the next one, it's gonna be about the expenses, about the price. Which country, if you, I think for this one we can rank it. Which one is gonna be most expensive, and which one is gonna be a little cheaper one? Ac-
Definitely Switzerland is the most expensive one.
Switzerland. Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
Switzerland is very expensive compared to the other. But if I'm not mistaken, Germany must be the cheapest one because it has a great economy in the Europe. Okay, so I would say Germany could be the cheapest one and Switzerland the most expensive.
Okay. Did you have any shock price in different countries as a cheapest or as a highest? Is
Shocking price, maybe. Uh, our experience was, for example, we had a stop in a city near the border between Switzerland and France.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and for example, we bought burgers from the same brand. Okay,
Oh yes.
talking about those like McDonald's and Burger
Mm.
King to only about 10 minutes driving. The differences was something about 5 to 10 euros.
Ow.
Yeah, the same thing that you wanted to buy.
Okay. So
Yeah,
the Swiss, and probably maybe I should remove it from my trip list because I.
it's okay because it is not that expensive that you cannot afford. It is compared to the place you're living. Maybe I would say it is you're residing in
Finland,
Finland.
yeah. Finland is
Okay,
a
so
very expensive country, yeah.
I would say somehow the same as Finland.
Okay, I can survive.
Okay. But accommodation could be because Switzerland accommodation is somehow expensive.
Yeah,
But in terms of
because
food, it can be the same in Finland.
yeah, because I think it's my mindset. Switzerland is just very luxury,
True.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not. It's look like the country they designed it for the rest and go for trip and not
Mhm,
for the normal people. It's gonna be. You should be a little rich
mhm.
you can go
That's
there.
the general mindset. But if you're traveling in a group, you can find a very affordable places, cottages. Okay,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and, and another trick that you can use it, you can buy everything in advance and bring it with
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
before passing the border, you can do the shopping and bring everything with yourself to the cottage instead of well, do the shopping in Switzerland.
Yeah. That's a good one. Okay. Uh, Actually, it was one of my different category to asking if you have some. Uh, how can I say that? Do you have some kind of tips for
Mhm.
this country? We you can have 5, 6, 10, as much as you want. How many tips you can give us for the trip?
Okay, for this type of trip, because we traveled with Motorhome, um, I used a very good application, which was specifically for those people who want to travel with these type of vehicles called Park for Night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it shows you all the campsite in Europe. Okay, and this is the Google Map based application, which shows you the exact location of each campsite with those facilities, such as shower, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
sleeping places or laundry places that you want to use, everything, plus the prices and also the recommendations. I mean, in terms of ranking, that people will say that what did they say, and you can check the photos. Okay, so it's quite important, and you would see that how far is it from the city center, which one is um, now at the moment is available, okay, or not. And this is very good to know in advance. You know where you want to stay. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when you're traveling with these type of car, you need to charge the batteries. Okay, the batteries of the motorhome, and also you have the water tank, which is a drinkable water and for taking shower, etc. You need to be careful about the waste tank. I really recommend you to drain it off every day. Otherwise, the water inside the waste tank will stink, and you will feel it after 2 or 3 days. Okay, so
Okay. Um,
that's good to know about that. The horrible one is to drain off the toilet cassette. Okay,
okay.
that's a suitcase size of the toilet that you need to drain off whenever it fails. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's horrible. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a part of the trip. You cannot
Yeah.
just enjoy. Sometimes you should pay. Okay. So I want to go to the last category about
Okay.
your inner experience of the trip. So thank you so much about sharing the experience about the everything about the camping and of course I know that in this limit time we cannot talk about it all the details and experience, but uh, because I'm a psychologist and I want to know about the inside. I mean the how can I say your inside experience of this trip. So yeah, we can
Mhm.
see the trip, we can see the um, we can see the different land, we can see different people, culture, and everything. But my question is, what's happened for the Bardia before and after the trip? It was.
Okay.
Do you know that it's gonna some kind of crazy weird question, but it's very interesting for me because the trip is can change the people. What's happened to you? What's your experience?
Well, let me answer you the same way as the major you studied. We've got the mental images, okay,
Hmm.
before we the destination, okay, based on the information, based on information that we're searching, we're watching, we're reading, or the friends that we're talking, we will have the primary image of a destination we want to travel. Based on that image, we will have expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When we are arriving at the destination, different scenarios will happen. 3 different scenarios. The first scenario, the destination and everything inside it, if it is meet our expectations exactly the same, so we will be happy.
Mm-hmm.
If it is higher than our expectation in a positive way, so we'll be super happy. Okay? But if it is lower than our expectation, it will be the negative surprises.
Mm-hmm.
So at the destination, our image perception will change. Okay? So let's say it will be modified.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And after that, after the finishing the travel at the destination, when you head back to the place you're living, you will have the final modification, and then based on whatever happened, you will try to repeat it again if you like
Yeah.
it. Or if you were super happy with that, you will recommend it to other people. You should have to go there. You should go visit there and stay there. It's super nice. Okay, so this is the way what will happen in a psychological way you mentioned.
Yeah. Okay.
The mental images each of us have. It is the same about even testing the food. I don't know, buying a new product and everything. Okay, but in terms of tourism, it was like that. To me, based on my own expectations, some of the places that we travel was very great, higher than expectations, because nowadays we're checking the social media, the images and photos,
Mm-hmm.
and want to know where exactly they are, and you will go and check if they're really the same. Okay, some of them were higher than and then my expectation. It was super beautiful, but in some other places, no, it was just
Yeah.
not bad. Okay, it was just that, and there were some show-offs on the photos that you saw before, and it wasn't that good. And even with some of the people as well, you would see that. Okay, so maybe this country, the people are not really open and hospitable compared to the
Mm-hmm.
previous country where you come. You just passed, because when you're traveling at the same time to 3 to 4 different countries, okay, then suddenly, unconsciously, your mind will compare these people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. And
Okay.
uh, again, thank you for your time and for sharing your experience. So, if I want to conclude your experience in some point, if you want to go somewhere, first of all, we need to know uh, the members who we are with. And then
Mhm.
we need to know where we are going and when at the time we are going. What do we want from our trip? And how much money do you have for the budget? And we should be prepared for changing our mindset about the trip or expectation about the trip. So we must for working our flexibility in the trip.
Exactly, because the more open your mindset, okay, the more open in terms of changing your mindset, the more enjoyable trip you
Yeah,
will have.
you must be open to the new thing to enjoy. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Badia. Thank you. If there's
Yes.
something you can add at the end, I will be happy to hear that.
Well, I just want to add something more in terms of
Yeah.
tourism, because that would be nice if people try to consider, when you want to travel and you want to enjoy, at the same time, you need to put yourself in the shoes of the local people. Okay, so you need to be, let's say, respectful to the local people at the destination. Okay, you need to respect the culture, the environment they're living, and at the same time, in case that you want to enjoy yourself as well. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is the thing that you need to consider when you're traveling. So remind yourself that why you are there, and you don't want to have a very negative experience, that would be the same scenario for them as well. So respect them, and you will enjoy as well.